Welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 810, recorded live on October 19th, 2024. And here are your hosts. The man who most likely does not want to talk about Michigan football today, Dave Pillay.
I mean, I'll talk about it. I'm not happy about it, but I'll talk about it.
And the man who's got no problem talking about Eastern or Western football today, Andy Lowe. Hi.
Who won really late game last week?
Western did.
Okay, cool. And then they won again this week?
Yes. Western Michigan.
Eastern, from the sounds of it.
Yes. Eastern came back from, I think, 18 down in the fourth, if I'm looking at the score correctly, to beat Central. And it was Eastern's homecoming, too. So a come from behind victory for homecoming is always good. And then, Western beat Buffalo in Buffalo. Heck of a shootout, 48-41. And they are now ranked 1-2 in the MAC. Western
1-2, like Western and Eastern are.
Yes,
okay.
Western and Eastern are now ranked 1 and 2.
I'm like, usually people call that 12. Oh, you mean the two teams?
Yes.
Are ranked 1 and 2. I got it.
So it was good. I didn't really get to see much of the games or, listen to them because we went to the zoo today. So,
ooh.
Yeah, they had they've been doing like theme weekends at the Binder Park Zoo, which is the one near us. And the oh no, I don't want to close that tab. That tab is the recording. Leave that one open.
That would be sad.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, they had different like themes for activities. This one, and this was fall into festivities, and they had a scavenger hunt because they had a bunch of like competitive yard games out there and some kids crafts, and they had like a s'more station, but they had like a scavenger hunt in the zoo, and so Isaac was all about that. It was actually, we went around through the zoo, and then you got a little certificate saying, hey, you're an adventure explorer. But then they also had like a pack of trading cards that had all the different zoo animals and places you went to in the zoo for the scavenger hunt as like collectible cards, which was kind of neat. Both the kids loved that.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so that was a good thing. That was a good couple of hours on a Saturday, especially with this weather. Oh my gosh. This weather has gone 180 because it was, I think we had frost advisories earlier this week.
We had frost.
Yes.
Not even advisory. We had legit frost. And then today it was like 74 degrees.
Yeah. What was it today? Just kind of want to see what it got up to. Come on, Weather Underground, get yourself loaded. Man, has Weather Underground always had this many ads?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I've gone to Wonderground.
Well, what do you do for weather?
Google.
Oh, okay.
I look at my phone and so what I usually use for weather is I look at my watch. We've covered this before, Andy. Remember my super information dense watch, which I think gets it from Dark Sky? Or used to.
You probably used to get it from Dark Sky.
So the watch has temperature throughout the day, relative temperature throughout the day. So like the bar gets thicker as it gets hotter and then thinner as it gets colder. It's got the high and the low. It's got the current temp. It's got sunrise, sunset. It has precipitation. It has the relative position of the sun and moon, as well as the phase of the moon, as well as the time, as well as cloudy versus sunny, because the bar desaturates as it gets cloudier.
That is a lot going on.
It's a ton of information, but like once you learn how to read it, it's fantastic.
How often does it update though?
I don't know. Whenever I look at my watch.
Because I just pulled up the weather on my Pixel Watch. This is just the standard weather. And last updated was a couple hours ago.
I can force an update if I go into the menu.
That is a lot going on. Oh my goodness. That is a lot going on.
Oh, and if I tap on it after it's like live and awake, it gives me the watch battery and the phone battery.
You see, now I used to worry about the watch battery, but now it takes me about a half hour or so to get the kids up and dressed and everything.
So you just charge it then?
I just charge it then, yeah.
Nice.
Did you get the notification?
I changed my watch to be like wind speed now.
Did you get the notification on your... Wait, do you still have a Pixel phone?
I do still have a Pixel phone.
Okay. There should be a thing...
If I double tap, it requests the weather.
Ah, okay. There's a thing now between the Pixel phone and the Pixel Watch where my phone will actually alert me when my watch is fully charged.
Yep, I started getting that too.
Yes, that's very nice.
I was very confused the first time I saw it. I'm like, wait, but what? Oh, cool. I guess I'll go get it off the charger.
Yep. No, I've got the, wow, I'm just hitting all over the place right now. I've got the Android 15 update waiting to install as well.
Cool.
So,
do you remember the days when that used to be like major? Back in like Cupcake and Donut?
Yeah. We're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. Now it's, do they still do, I think we looked this up, and do they still do
desserts?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
The last version of Android to feature a dessert nickname was Android 9, which was Pie.
Wait, but Pie is not the 9th letter.
All right, here we go. Cupcake 1.5, Donut 1.6, Eclair 2, Froyo 2.2, Gingerbread 2.3,
okay.
Honeycomb 3, Ice Cream Sandwich was 4, Jelly Bean 4.1, Kit Kat 4.4, Lollipop was 5, Marshmallow was 6, Nougat was 7, 8 was Oreo, 9 was Pie.
And then they just stopped.
Yes.
Did you include Honeycomb in there?
Yeah, Honeycomb was Android 3.
Yeah. That was like the first tablet Android.
Yep. Okay, there were the internal code names still had ice cream.
Desserts.
Yes. So yeah, Pie's internal code name was pistachio ice cream. 10 was quince tart. 11 was red velvet cake. 12 was snow cone. 13 was tiramisu. So 14 would have been U, and 15 here would have been a V. This is an old article, though. Let's see if I can see Android 14. Let's see.
Code name.
Oh, Android 14 is upside down cake.
Of course it is.
And then let's see.
Android 15, vanilla ice cream.
Really? Vanilla ice cream?
Yep, vanilla ice cream. Source code was released on September 4th. Android 15 features.
Oh, the Android statue for 15 shows him sitting on a park bench eating a vanilla ice cream cone with sprinkles.
Adaptive vibration.
Yes, I still don't know what. Yeah, I have to look through all the
partial screen sharing. That's nice.
There's also like a whole like private section.
Ooh,
on your
private
phone.
Space.
Yes. So I'll have to see. I wasn't going to do it, while I was at the zoo. It's probably not the best time to update your phone's OS while you're, out and about.
Usually no. Usually you want to do it like at home.
So I might do it tomorrow, because today was the going around doing stuff day, and then tomorrow is going to be the let's sit at home day.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Next week should be interesting, though, because it is my the agency meeting, the division meeting, department meeting, I think is what they call it. So all of the radio techs from the entire state are going to get back together again for a couple of days in Traverse City. This time, though, it's not going to be at the Great Wolf Lodge. So Kate and the kids have decided to stay home because there's nothing fun to do at the hotel.
Aw, that's too bad.
Well, there's not a lot to do for kids up in Traverse City in the fall.
Cherries are all gone.
Most of the summer stuff has already shut down because it's after Labor Day.
Yeah.
So it's just, they're just going to stay home and be up there by myself. Oh, boy.
Poor you.
Yeah.
Whatever will you do?
Probably work on that presentation that I'm going to be giving in February on artificial intelligence.
Woo!
Because I looked over my presentation, and a lot of it seems to be already wildly out of date.
I know. It's so bad, isn't it?
Like, I did that presentation earlier this year, and I looked back, and I'm like, that's not how people do that anymore. I'll have to go through and write a new section on how, Stable Diffusion works and that sort of stuff. Because it seems to be wildly different. And, Sora came out, too. So I got to figure out how the heck they do video processing. Yeah. But I can switch this into a topic because, speaking of video stuff, Adobe had their generative AI called Firefly that could create pictures from text prompts, which, they said was, completely trained on their Adobe stock images, openly licensed content, and public domain content. So it was completely safe for commercial use. That was just
never mind the Adobe end user license agreement that for like a week said we get access to all of your content without, outright saying it, but for the purpose of training an AI model.
Yes. Well, they did that for for still images. And then they just released the Firefly video model, which they claim is trained exclusively on licensed content. So once again, safe for commercial use, according to them.
Yeah, licensed for the purpose of training it?
They have stated in their thing is it was trained exclusively on licensed content and that it is the first publicly available video model designed to be commercially safe. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's what they have posted in their press release.
Adobe, what you doing? Like, what you doing, Adobe?
Trying to put AI in everything from Photoshop to Illustrator to Premiere.
Yep.
Which there are also other things other than the, text to video is they also have a section called generative extend. So it will artificially extend clips.
So it's like predicting what happens next?
Yes.
Huh.
So you can...
I mean, that's literally what all generative AI is.
Yes.
Right? It's predicting what comes next.
Yes. So they will take your current image
but it would be
to help
really
with...
interesting. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so we could help with editing and timing.
I see. I was going to say it would be like some other interesting applications of that if you could train an AI on like someone's personality and then have it use that person, or even just like have it, a general trained, but be able to weight the input from a specific person, which I guess it kind of does intrinsically because you say like pretend you are X person. But could AI get good enough where I could say, pretend you're Andy Lowe of RA Podcast? How would Andy react to, or how would you react to XYZ certain situations? What would be your arguments for or against?
I feel like that'd be a little much.
Can I just debate prep off of like a Gen AI? I'm on Kamala's campaign staff. Can I prep her for a debate with Trump by just telling an AI to pretend it's Donald Trump?
I don't know. Sometimes Donald Trump sounds like he's AI.
Sounds like he's a broken AI. He sounds like AI before it finished training.
But yes, so they have announced Firefly video model. It's publicly available, but is currently only in an invite-only beta. But they're just Adobe, making their own. Adobe
doing what Adobe gonna do.
Yep.
You know who else is doing what they're gonna do?
Who?
SpaceX.
Yep. Did you?
I did not.
No.
I slept through it.
I luckily, as I had said, I bet you anything, Isaac is going to wake up at 8 o'clock. And what did Isaac do?
Woke up at 8 o'clock.
Woke up at 8 o'clock. And luckily, the launch was delayed by just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was able to come downstairs and do some stuff, and I got it up on the screen, and I watched it launch, and then I came back upstairs, got Isaac, got downstairs, and then watched it land, and I'm just like, what did I just watch? Did they actually get it right on the first try?
Well, the fifth, but
yes,
I know. Counting.
Yeah, the first time they actually aimed it for the tower.
They got it in the tower.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm still a little worried about, like, I'm looking at this picture on Ars of the ship coming down to the tower and the tower catching it. The rockets are pointed at the tower.
Oh, it's just the angle.
You're telling me those flames are going behind the tower?
Yes, it's just some of the photo from where the angles are, it wasn't aiming directly at the tower.
Right. No, I get that it's not going to aim directly at the tower.
Yeah.
But like, Andy, it's a rocket.
Yes, I know. There is a lot of propulsion and thrust pointing at the base of the tower.
Of the tower. And a lot of heat.
Yep.
So like, how many times can they use the tower before they have to service it?
I don't know. It was kind of fascinating because the people thought they was going to like hover and then get caught. But no, the thing it's kind of like it came down and then it was in a mode to basically be able to ditch if it needed to. And then kind of just like slid in almost sideways a bit. And then the arms came in and then
I'll have to watch it.
That's what I saw. I saw it like it was coming down and you could see the thing kind of like decide, okay, is this a go? Is this a go for the actual catch? Because I have a feeling like they were coming in at a trajectory where they could nope out if they wanted to, rather than accidentally taking down their tower.
The entire tower,
yes.
Which had to cost so much money.
Well, there's, in the word of the guy from, was it Cosmo? It wasn't Cosmo. What was the Jodie Foster?
Contact.
You
were close with Cosmos in that
yes.
It was Carl Sagan.
Yes.
Like, he wrote the book.
I know, and I tried to read the book, and the book was wildly different than the movie.
Yes.
So, there's that. But yeah, there's Contact. Quote Contact. Why not just build 2?
Did they build 2?
In the movie, you've seen the movie.
No,
Contact,
I know
right?
in the movie, but like I'm looking at the tower. Did they build a second tower?
I do believe they are building a second tower down in Boca Chica. No, not Boca China. Boca Chica.
It's the Chinese SpaceX. Boca China.
Second tower.
They modeled everything after Boca Chica so closely.
Well, they've got a second tower over at Kennedy, which is estimated to be operational in mid-2025, but that's not Boca Chica. Boca Chica. Here we go. Okay. 5 times per year, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't care about the plans. I want to know what their actual building is. Maybe is it this one? Oh, gesundheit.
Thank you.
This wiki is not helpful. There are videos, though, of people talking about a second Starship Tower being built.
Somewhere.
Yes, in Boca Chica 2 months ago. Yeah, Starship Tower, 2 final modules, test tanks, and more getting moved 2 months ago, according to NSF. So they've got all the stuff there. So if one went down, they could probably finish building the second.
How many of the engines survived?
All of them.
In good condition?
They brought them back to the high bay to check. So they've wheeled it back and they're checking it out right now. But so far, people think that all of them, there was some damage to one of the piping runs on the side. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, if you watch it, where the quick disconnect connects to Starship, that was on fire. So they'll need to do something about that.
Sorry. I wonder if that was from like the blast back or I don't know.
Well, they think that the quick disconnect didn't really disconnect on the Starship. And so it was leaking fuel through the fill lines. And of course, you've got a bunch of fire right below it.
Yeah.
That it's literally like traveling through as it descends. So
it just caught fire.
It caught, the quick disconnect area caught fire. So that was burning a bit.
They're working on it.
Yes.
They're working things out.
Yeah.
Really puts my work problems into perspective, though. I'm sitting here going like, man, this SQL query is taking like an hour to run, and I need it to run in like 20 minutes. And that's my work problem. These guys are like, how do we stop it from catching on fire? Because it needs to not catch on fire.
So, they're still assessing. The Starship section descended. Still was a little bit on the burned side. There was definitely some glowing of heat passing through. Oops. But according to them, especially since they had a buoy watching the thing descend the whole way, they basically nailed where they wanted it to land.
That's good. That's good, but we do need to stop the fins from melting.
Yes.
Guys.
Yes, make sure the thing doesn't melt completely, because that kind of breaks your reusability, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, sort of. Like, if the rocket is reusable, like, hey, we just need to print new fins, that's not terrible. Mm-hmm. If the fins are single use until we find a better material.
What I remember hearing from because I watched a couple recaps, and analysis of this. And I think one of the guys, one of them said that SpaceX actually purposely left some like tiles off in certain spots just to test to see, because they did a whole new way of protection and attachment of the heat shield tiles.
Okay.
So they were kind of curious to see what would happen if some were missing with the
just getting their tolerances.
Yes.
Just figuring out the tolerances,
yes.
right?
Yeah, they had a couple of bare spots, so they wanted to actually see what would happen if we lost a couple of tiles. But yes, no, there were some times there where things burned through last time, and they still sort of burned through this time, but it landed where it was supposed to. So we'll see. The Flight 6, technically, if they wanted to redo this flight over again, they could do that. They've already got a license for Flight 6 for the same mission profile. But
what's the likelihood of that?
Well, as we saw from 4 going to 5, they're like, no, we're going to try something more.
Right. Like, yes, it didn't go 100% the way we wanted it, but that's too bad. We're going to keep going, and we'll figure it out as we go along.
I think that, if this booster, they're still going to, try and capture the booster. They might try and reuse this booster. That'd be interesting to see. Or they might just tear this one entirely apart. Who knows? But I think they need to try, because I don't think they have done it yet. I don't think they've actually tried to reignite the Raptor engines while it was in space. If I remember correctly, they just put it in the same suborbital flight path. After the main burn, I think it just coasted for like 40 minutes. So I don't think they actually tried to relight the engines, which they'll need to do, once they put it into an orbital path. So yes, that's what I'm thinking. Flight 6, they're probably not going to want to do the same flight path, or they could have it land in the Indian Ocean again.
So here's my guess for Flight 6. They're going to do the refuel. Like, they won't actually do a refuel, but they're going to do it as if it were going to try to match a currently orbiting starship so that it could refuel that starship.
Well, so they'll need 2 of them up in the air for that then, right?
No. Not actually do the refuel. But it's really easy to say, like, all right, that point in space is an orbiting starship. Can we get another starship to that point that is orbiting and match an arbitrary velocity? Maybe that'll be 7. Maybe 6 is getting it into orbit, where it can just stay there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I think they need to, if they get it into orbit, they need to make sure that the engines can relight and get itself out of orbit. Because I feel like with the size that Starship is, people don't want that big honking thing floating around up there. So I feel like
just leave it up there for a while.
Elon Musk, though, have said that hopefully earlier next year they plan on catching the ship as well. But yeah, there's other things they got to try first for that. So
they got things to do.
Mm-hmm.
They got things to do.
They have a whole lot of new money for it, though, because the military had 2 sets of launch contracts up for bids.
Yup.
And one was for 7 launches with groups of spacecraft for missile tracking and data relay satellites. The other was for 2 missions from the National Reconnaissance Office. So the parameters of the competition limited it to either SpaceX or United Launch Alliance.
And ULA is like Boeing and
Lockheed, I think.
Yeah, like Northrop, Lockheed, Boeing, but also like Blue Origin is in there, right?
Blue Origin is providing some of the engines.
For ULA.
Yes, I think for the Vulcan, it's providing the engines.
So it came down to SpaceX and everyone else.
Pretty much, yes.
Shit. I hate this, Andy. I don't know if it comes across well enough. I like the fact that Elon Musk is in charge of this company hurts me.
Yes, no, that was 2 things that are not on this list, but one, SpaceX and the military were basically trying to go through to try and get a faster launch cadence out of Vanderbilt out in California. And there was a California group. I forgot what they were called. Let's see if I can just Google this quickly. Yes, California regulator. What is the name of the California regulator? It is called California Coastal Commission, because the California Coastal Commission voted to not allow SpaceX to expand the number of rocket launches from Vandenberg Space Force Base from 36 to 50. So now he has sued the commission in court, saying that they don't actually have the right to do so. But
I mean, they kind of do. Like, it's what they're there for. They've been empowered to do so.
But his political meddling came into their discussion. So now, of course, he's using that as ammunition to...
Oh, hey, that's First Amendment. You can't punish me because of it.
Yes. So that's going on for that part.
He's right.
Yep.
On that one, if it is because of his political beliefs, that's not good. There gets to be messy in there, because if it's because of his environmental beliefs, and they're like, no, this is not.
This is what we're supposed to be doing, is handling, and making sure that the California coast environmentally protected.
Right.
Yeah.
But denying that because he supports Donald Trump is not a good thing.
Yeah. So that was one thing. So that's going on. And the other one was the day after the Starship launched, there was... Did I put this on as a topic or no? I did not. There was the meeting of the International Astronautics Congress, I think is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
And which is basically a meeting of all of the space agencies for the world.
Okay.
So SpaceX really wasn't there, but everybody there was talking about SpaceX, because literally the day before
is when they launched their rocket.
Yes.
And so everyone's like, oh my God, they could make this really cheap.
Yeah. So there was a lot of people were talking about this, and a lot of them were like, it's not really, it's great that SpaceX can do this, but if it wasn't SpaceX, who else could do this? And a lot of them are just like, there isn't anybody, SpaceX threw this whole aerospace industry on its head, and, what are we going to do about it?
I've already given the answer to that.
Yep.
Pull a Teddy Roosevelt and nationalize the space agency.
But there were even people from the European Space Agency and stuff, and they're just like, Europe has nothing to counter this.
Yep.
Yeah,
they are dominating the market.
Yes.
Because they questioned a fundamental assumption that everyone else was making, and honestly that everyone else has made since Werner von Braun decided to start getting into this, which is the reusability of rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing SpaceX has done is beyond the capability of any other organization. It's just there's a huge upfront R&D cost. Is SpaceX? We don't know if SpaceX is turning a profit yet, do we? Because it's a private company.
Nope, don't know. But getting
so it's possible they're losing money on every launch.
I think I'm trying to remember, because the SpaceX president, which is not Elon Musk, or it's one of the two, one of the C-level people who's not Elon Musk but is in charge of SpaceX, has talked about in the past where I think they are actually making money on launches. 2023 SpaceX was able to turn a profit. So SpaceX has been profitable for a little bit over a year now.
Yeah, but how much of that is launches versus Starlink versus...
Oh, that's true. Well, as I was trying to say here, they've gotten the launch contract with the military worth $733 million for 9 launches. Launches, not lunches. Launches.
Launches.
Yes, launches. 9 lunches, $733 million. That's a lot of...
$81 million a lunch.
You're either feeding a whole lot of people... Well, you're feeding a whole lot of people either way, because I don't even think you could get even really expensive food for $81 million a meal.
That's a lot of food.
Yep.
It's a lot of food. That's not just the food. That's the restaurant.
Not even that. It's the transportation of everybody to the restaurant.
81 million is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've been getting bombarded with these YouTube shorts of the Teddy Roosevelt TV series.
There's a Teddy Roosevelt TV series?
There was like a short TV series. It was like 2 or 3 episodes about Theodore Roosevelt. I don't know the name of it because all I've been doing is seeing the shorts, but I've seen like half of it because I've been seeing the shorts.
I think it's literally called Teddy Roosevelt or Theodore Roosevelt. 2022 documentary, 1 season, 2 episodes long.
Yep.
Looks like it was
Theodore
on the
Roosevelt.
History Channel.
It's great, assuming it's the same one. Yeah, that's the same one. Like there's the scene where he's dealing with the coal miners on strike, and one of his advisors says like, well, I've been talking to the coal industry, and they recommend you send in the army and break this up and let the people who want to work. And his response to that is, yeah, send in the army. Yeah, but not to break up the strike. We're going to nationalize the mines. That'll bring them to the table. Like, what? You want to do what? Apparently, Roosevelt was not supposed to be president. He was picked as a vice because, like, they didn't expect him to be able to do anything. And they didn't expect him to go and to be able to run. He was supposed to be an albatross.
Yep, and then McKinley got assassinated, and then
McKinley got assassinated. Oops.
Yeah, let's give him the vice presidency, which doesn't actually do anything until it does. Oh, that was Gerald R. Ford, right?
What?
Ford wasn't even elected. He was brought in.
He was the House.
Yeah, he was brought in for vice presidency.
He was Speaker of the House. He was brought to vice presidency on a short-term basis when Nixon resigned.
Yes.
Nixon's VP resigned.
Yeah, Nixon's VP resigned. So he was brought in as the temporary VP. And then Nixon resigned and Ford became president.
Yeah, and then did the worst, stupidest thing in the world that honestly has set the tone for today.
Oh, by pardoning Nixon?
He pardoned Nixon.
Well, he was trying to just put an end to Nixon.
Yep, but he shouldn't have.
He should have let it go. Yeah.
He should have let it go through the court. Nixon would have been convicted and sentenced, and that would have set the standard of, you know what? Presidents can do bad shit, and they'll get into trouble for it.
Mm-hmm.
None of this immunity if you're doing the job of the president.
Well, how many times have we been stuck with the hand dealt to us by our elders?
Yep.
Well, let's see what else we got here. Oh, speaking of the space news, we got one more little thing here. Rocket Lab, one of those little up-and-comer small rocket launch groups. 2 months ago, an unnamed customer signed a purchase agreement for a launch from Rocket Labs for $6 million. 2 months ago is when they actually signed the contract.
Sure.
The launch is happening today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fast turnaround.
Going from literally ink drying on the paper to actually launching 2 months.
I mean, if you have the rocket ready.
No, they built the rocket in 2 months.
Oh, they built the rocket?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Allowing them to launch precisely where they want and when they want on incredibly short notice. Yeah, apparently. I'd be a little worried about that. It literally is rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
So our CEO is on record making the statement, something like healthcare IT is harder than rocket science? Is that what it was? Health IT is more complex than rocket science.
Okay.
This is a direct quote from Judy Faulkner. Health IT is more complex than rocket science. So we have that on shirts at work. And I kind of want to take one of those shirts and like go tour Boca Chica.
But man, can you think of like the military? Well, people were talking about this for the military. The fact that if there are some sort of like assets in space that are taken out by Russia or China or somebody, how quickly can you get something back up there?
Yeah.
Well, Rocket Lab.
Apparently 3 months.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, just call it a hunch, the military could get it up there faster if they needed to.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or even more likely can work around it.
Probably can work around it, but, if you need something up there that is a necessary thing.
Yeah.
Could be
I'm just thinking
see.
like you take an F-35's computer and shove it onto a like B-52, then you have combat and control for just a third of the globe globe on a plane that doesn't need to land.
The logistics behind that would be ridiculous, but the military is all about logistics.
Andy, if there is one thing that the United States military does better than anyone else, it is logistics.
Yes.
It is the like, hang on, let me try and find the quote. Enemy being discouraged. Damn, fictitious.
Oh.
Although based on reality. So there's a scene in a movie where German officer finds chocolate cake in possession of an American POW and effectively said, "Shit, we're going to lose." That an American soldier had chocolate cake in a war zone.
Yep.
So that is the like fake Hollywood, except it's kind of true because American sailors in the Pacific had ice cream.
Well, there was actually, I'm trying to remember if it was part of The Great Escape or not. It was one of the POW escapes where the POW made it to the train station and was waiting for his train and got caught because he was eating a chocolate bar that he had gotten in his kit.
Rations.
Yep. The Germans were not allowed to have chocolate at that time, so he was eating basically an illegal food and got caught because of it. That one, I remember reading about that happening. So yes, your chocolate cake has a lot of truth to it.
The American military can do logistics.
Bureaucracy, that's the other side of that coin.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bureaucracy and going from 2 months to the opposite side, our favorite topic of the SLS came up again.
Oh, no. Favorite for some, definitions of the word favorite.
Yeah.
How's good old Artemis?
Well, a new report from the GAO found that
Government Accountability Office?
Yes.
Yes, got it.
The ground systems program, so not the rocket, but the infrastructure to support the rocket and the Orion capsule, is currently in danger of missing its schedule for Artemis 2. So not only is the rocket was technically supposed to have been already stacked, or at least it was I do believe it was in the process of getting stacked for the September 2025 launch date.
I don't know. That seems very early to get it stacked a year out.
Trying to remember where it was. Let me go to to prepare for Artemis 2 launching next September. Artemis officials had previously said they plan to begin stacking operations of the rocket in September of this year. But so far, this activity remains on hold pending a decision on the Orion heat shield, which had trouble during the reentry of the Artemis 1 mission back in 2022.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah. 2022 is when Orion came back into the Earth's atmosphere, and engineers found more than 100 locations where reentry damaged the heat shield. So...
but it's not meant to be a reusable vehicle.
But still, they were 100 locations where they weren't not expecting damage to the heat shield.
Oh, well.
So it didn't work as well as they had thought it was going to.
Oops.
So there is a independent review team conducting an idea of trying to figure out, okay, what do we do about Orion? So Orion hasn't figured out, so they haven't stacked the rocket, but it turns out that not even that, even just the infrastructure for hosting the rocket and all of that, the Exploration Ground Systems program had several months of schedule margin in its work towards the September 2025 launch date at the beginning of the year. But now that entire wiggle room is gone.
And then some.
And yeah. So
this is going to go to like on record as being just such an incredibly wasteful program.
Well, it was I couldn't post the link because it's from a Bloomberg article, but actually Michael Bloomberg himself penned an op-ed saying, "Hey, I saw this report. I've been a fan of spaceflight, so I've paid attention to spaceflight, and this is an albatross. This needs to die and go away."
Yeah.
He's like, there are other programs at NASA that are getting sucked dry just so Artemis can try to do something. And I love it. He's like, and Artemis isn't even going to land on the moon. All Artemis is doing is taking the Orion capsule and putting it at the moon.
Yep.
And then you're going to take other stuff and they're going to use that other stuff to land. Oh, yeah. And by the way, let's talk about Gateway, because that doesn't seem to be doing anything. Yeah.
No, I just realized, like, this whole thing with Elon Musk and Trump and the Department of
Efficiency or whatever they were.
Government Efficiency, the Doge, because of course it is.
Yep.
Isn't there a conflict of interest there? Like a significant one?
Probably. But when has
I think we should stop funding all space programs.
Except for the ones that, hey, look, SpaceX already has gotten 9 contracts for.
Right. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. But what has conflict of interest ever, stopped a Republican in the past?
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Have you? What was the COVID checks?
Yeah, where they I mean, there were Democrats who did it too. But
Yes.
Where they filed for the PPP stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then Congress at one point specifically put into the law for PPP that, there must be oversight on this. And then as soon as Donald Trump signed it into office, put out an executive order saying no oversight is required for the PPP program. It's like, great.
Yep. Projecting much? I keep talking about Democrats stealing.
Let's see. What else do we got on? Let's get some good news.
Good news. I mean, we did talk about some good news.
Yes.
SpaceX got their thing in the air.
Yes.
Rocket Labs managed to do an incredibly fast turnaround. Like, that was really cool.
Wasn't even a turnaround.
FTC has said that you have to make it as easy to cancel as you make it to sign up.
Yes. The click to cancel rule, which will be in effect 180 days after it's published in the register, which should be, I think, next month. Yeah, I think we're too late for this month already. But if you signed up online, you should be able to cancel your sign up online without having to speak to anybody at all.
Yeah. You know who's going to absolutely, totally fucking hate this? Gyms.
Yes. Planet
Gym
Fitness has
memberships.
gotten so many complaints.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, I've been seeing them and I don't go to the gym. Of like, it is so much easier to sign up for this than to get rid of it.
Yep. The other thing it's going to do is require people to obtain consumer consent before charging for memberships after the free trial. So if you sign up for
that's easy. That's the after the free trial, by accepting this after your free trial, we get to start billing you.
No. They have to specifically contact you and get consent at the end of the free trial before charging you. Yes.
Holy crap.
Yes. There is no automatic enrolling after a free trial.
Oh my God. That's huge.
Yes.
Oh God, all the streaming sites are going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm. So this should be interesting to see, but it will be in effect 100 days after it gets published. So not going to happen this year.
How, as soon as it's published, there's going to be court filings, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I could see that.
I feel like almost everything the FTC does that isn't give money to people for broadband, ends up in the courts.
Well, that's FCC is the one who gives people money for broadband. Sorry,
that's true. FCC.
Which there's a topic for the FCC as well, if you want to keep on going on the government chain.
Sure.
Because they opened up a notice of inquiry to explore how broadband data caps impact competition and consumers. During the last year, nearly 3,000 people have contacted the FCC to register complaints on data caps on their internet service. So Chairman Rosenworcel filed a notice of inquiry to see, what can we do about data caps? Because the FCC doesn't technically really know what exactly they can do, especially with the Supreme Court coming down with the Chevron deference.
Right.
But as the commission considers the impact of data caps on consumers and competition, we seek comment on our legal authority to modify rules in this area. So we're going to see. It was a 3-2 vote to open it. No surprise, the 2 Republicans
voted against.
Yes.
Guys, it's just an inquiry. Why?
Yeah, one of them, which I'm still trying to get around this hypothetical, is from one of the Nathan Similton said, suppose we were a different FCC, the Federal Coffee Commission, and rather than regulating the price of coffee, which we have vowed not to do, we instead implement a regulation whereby consumers are entitled to free refills on their coffee. What effect might follow? Well, I predict three things could happen. Either cafes stop serving small coffees, or cafes charge a lot more for small coffees, or cafes charge a little more for all coffees. I'm trying to compare internet to a coffee shop.
The difference is coffee, despite being an addiction and a very wonderful thing, is not required for business. I can run a business without coffee. I cannot run a successful modern business without the internet. How, switch it and say, you are the FCC, and now you've decided to regulate that, broadcast television can cut you off.
Yeah. And he said here, though only a notice of inquiry because it is the first step down a path towards further rate regulation, I cannot support the item we've brewed up here.
Oh.
Wow, just taking that coffee metaphor the whole way.
Just gotta go for the pun.
Yep.
I mean, I respect that. I actually do respect going for the pun. I just think that it's a straw man argument.
Yes. No.
Or false equivalency. False equivalency.
Because
it's not straw man. It's false equivalency.
I'm still just in my head going these data caps were arbitrarily placed originally just to make more money. There's the pipes are already laid.
Yeah.
It's just a bit ridiculous. And then of course. Brendan Carr basically just said, I dissent from today's NOI because I cannot support the Biden-Harris administration's march towards rate regulation because the FCC plainly does not have the legal authority to do so.
So I'm going to be as obstinate and non-helpful as I can be because I want to see the other guys fail.
Yeah, prohibiting customers from choosing to purchase plans with data caps, which are more affordable than unlimited one, necessarily regulates the service rates they are paying for. But so yeah.
So here's the thing: is they're not wrong. If the FCC goes and says you can't do data caps anymore, then the companies are going to say fine. Then those customers have to pay full price.
True.
I don't see a different way of that playing out. So
I
do agree with the Republicans on that. I just still think that there's something else that we could do. I don't know what. I'm not on the FCC. I'm just a random schmuck on the internet.
Well, there's our title, Random Schmucks on the Internet. I love that she pointed out, she said, during the pandemic, many internet service providers refrained from enforcing or imposing data caps, and there wasn't that many problems. So we kind of know that they have the capacity to meet demand without restrictions. So, yeah, so much of our life depends on internet access, and so many customers are writing us frustrated by these restrictions.
Yeah, but getting rid of the restrictions is not going to.
No, if there's some, unless you somehow
pay
can
more.
Yeah.
Unless you regulate the price.
Which
there is one way to regulate the price without regulating it. So you can regulate it. You can say, nope, you can't charge more than this. And then that's going to get thrown out. Mm-hmm. Here comes Socialist Dave again. If the government laid their own cable,
which they're not going to do.
No. Because it would never get approved through Congress.
Nope.
But it would certainly make a difference to nationalize or have a national broadband provider that was competing with the private sector.
Yes. But right now, like I said, this is just a notice of inquiry. They might not even lead to any rules. They might just be gathering information because they don't actually. It's one of those things. They
want to at least look like they're doing something.
Yes. It's we don't even know if the Telecommunications Act would provide sufficient authority for us to even take action. So we're putting it out there going, hey, what does everybody think of what we can and cannot do on this? Tell us your opinions.
And I mean, my answer is you can't get rid of it without raising the price.
Yeah.
You can tell them you aren't allowed to limit this anymore, and they're just going to get rid of those plans.
Mm-hmm.
They have no incentive to get rid of those plans and bring everyone down to that price. Why?
No, that would be dumb as a company to, All right. All right, last little bit, funny thing. So Redbox went bankrupt, originally filed for Chapter 11, then filed for Chapter 7. Redbox, being in bankruptcy, didn't do anything to any of their kiosks anywhere. So they are still...
They're still out there?
Yes, they are still out there. I think it was Walgreens told the bankruptcy court in August saying that it has 5,400 abandoned kiosks at its stores, that it is spending $184,000 a month keeping them powered.
I'd believe it.
So the company would like some payment for keeping these boxes. So some people have read that, gone to their local Walgreens and said, hey, I'll take this off your hands for you. And they
Walgreens is like, sure.
Some of them have, yes. So there are people who have taken the red boxes and just started to mess with them. And of course, the first thing people have posted is the fact that they've got it so they can play
they
Doom.
Run Doom.
Yep. Other people have been, getting all the DVDs out of there. Some people, though, have been digging into the red boxes. And then they have found out that Redbox did not encrypt any of the data inside the kiosks.
Oh, no.
So dates of rentals, what movie they rented, the last 4, and sometimes even the first 6 of the credit card. Yep.
God damn it.
For that rental. So that's fun. And it's like, okay,
Great.
If the company is bankrupt and their data then gets leaked, what is our...
There is none.
We can't go after
there
anybody.
There is no recompense. Yep. We talked about how 23andMe might be going under, right?
I'm not sure if that was you I talked to about that or somebody else. But yes, no, I knew 23andMe was possibly going under. Yeah, what happens to our genetic data that they have?
Yep. Highest bidder.
Mm-hmm.
They own the genetic data.
I was talking to somebody. I'm not sure if it was you, but there is a broadcast, a company who built broadcast towers. They were going out of business. Somebody else, if I remember correctly, came in. No, they were just purchased recently. And then the new owner was going to shut down the company just purchased. And they sent out an email to everybody going, hey, if you guys want the information on the towers that you own, some of these since 1956, you guys are going to need to pay us, and then we'll give you whatever documentation we have on hand that relates to your tower. And I read that and I'm like, really? That's a dick move right there. You buy the other company, shut them down, and go, oh, if you guys want information about your own purchases, you'll need to pay us for that.
It's extortion at that point.
Mm-hmm. Well, on that cheerful note, should we hit the randoms?
Yeah, randoms. What do we have for the randoms, Andy?
Well, talking about something a little on the old side, so Isaac has been getting back into the Legos again, which is great for me because we've got a lot of Legos and I've got a lot of Lego video games and stuff. So I was going through trying to find something for him to do Lego-wise on his tablet. Mm-hmm. And I had found, going through the list of official Lego games, that there was a game that came out, I think when did that originally come out? 2019. Came out originally in July 1st, 2019. And is actually still going. It's called Lego Tower.
Lego Tower?
Yes, Lego Tower. It is made by the same guys who do Tiny Tower.
Ah.
So it is, I grabbed Tiny Tower. It's a stripped down version of Tiny Tower.
Which itself is a stripped down version of Sim Tower.
Yes. So, yeah.
So this is a stripped down version of Sim Tower.
Yes, but it is
skinned with Legos.
Yes. And it's simple enough, though, that Isaac can actually understand the gameplay. And it's free to play. There is, chances of joining, paying money for stuff or joining the VIP group to get, different bonuses and that sort of stuff there. Mm-hmm. But I have been playing it, and it's actually kind of fun because it's Legos. And so, you get Lego pieces and you can customize your character and all the other characters in your tower with the Lego pieces. So I am currently dressed up as an astronaut pirate, and it's just a fun little thing. We can just come up with like silly little stories about, why this guy who works at the movie theater, has an eye patch. How did this guy get an eye patch from working at the movie theater? Mm-hmm. So it's pretty straightforward. It's Tiny Tower, just, Lego.
Just Legos.
Yep. Hasn't really been updated, but it's still on and working. And Tiny Tower wasn't really there's not really a PvP version into Tiny Tower. It's just kind of you just, having fun in your tower. So let me move my phone away from that cable because it sounded like I was picking something up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
I haven't heard that noise in a long time.
I know. I heard that. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So yeah, Lego Tower,
Cute.
It's cute. It's fun. It's simple.
Yep. So when you sitting Isaac in front of Sim Tower, might be a little advanced for him.
Yeah. No, we tried to
just for a little bit.
There was a SimCity game for the Wii that we tried to. Yeah, it is not good.
No,
because it's the isometric view of SimCity on the Wii. So trying to control it with the Wiimote.
Probably not great.
No. It's one of those things where it's like somebody probably ported that to the Wii without actually, trying it out.
About it.
Yeah.
Shovelware. Yep.
But yeah, no, it's Lego Tower. Latest game version 1.26. That was. Oh, this doesn't tell me when it was released, does it? No, it's not. These wikis that I've been going to have not been good.
Just not helpful.
Nope. Let's see. Here it says, last updated November 2nd, 2023. So it's been about a year since it's been updated. But, you're just building a tower, having fun with your guys in the tower, dressing them up all...
Lego minifigs?
Yep. All the different random minifigs.
Nice.
So, Lego Tower, free to try it out if you want something just to wiggle around with.
Okay.
All right, so, hold on. I have to find a horse that seems to have wandered off in the tower.
Andy.
Oh, there he is. All right, sorry. I had to collect some bucks for that because I found a guy's horse. All right, random topic rolled ahead of time. Do Andy and Kate know that David rents their house out on Airbnb when they are out of town?
Shit!
Well, we are
Surprise!
Yes. Dave? Yeah, it's like, do you assume that we go out of town? Because, yeah, anytime we do go on vacation, you are there, Dave.
Yeah, and I'm not at your house. Someone else is.
Well, they must have a horrible time because I turn the Echo Bee on. Yeah, we don't pick up before we leave, and I turn the Echo Bee on to vacation mode. And so there is either A, no heat, or B, no AC.
No air. Andy?
Yeah?
Out of curiosity.
Yes.
Do you check your Echo Bee when you're on vacation?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay. Damn.
Because I'm...
It's going to be like, how do you know it stays in vacation mode?
I check it through BStat, actually, which we've talked about on this podcast. I check on BStat just to see if they're, because with the AC and the heat not running, the house gets to equilibrate on its own, and I'm kind of, I'm always curious to see where all the rooms sit with all of the sensors that I have in the house.
We live in the future. Also, to be clear, I don't actually Airbnb your house.
Yeah, I know.
I Airbnb a tent in your yard.
Oh, it's a tent in the yard. Well, you could do that. It'd be kind of silly, but you still could do that if you wanted to.
People who like oak trees.
And squirrels. So many squirrels.
Well, you have a giant oak tree, Andy. Of course you have squirrels.
Yes. Kate said that she actually saw a squirrel chase off a bunny today from the oak tree area. So be surprised that the neighbors haven't said anything. Dave's renting a tent in our backyard now rather than the house.
Well, the neighbors are in on it.
Oh, which neighbors?
Who do you think welcomes the people to the place?
Well, which ones?
All of them.
Can you name any of my neighbors?
John.
Nope, John moved out a few years ago.
Ah, dang.
I love how you just picked the most generic name that you could think of.
My next door neighbor's name is John. I assumed yours is too.
No, there was a John, but no.
Because my other next door neighbor's name is Andy.
That is a little weird.
His wife is Caitlin.
Oh, I was drinking when you said that. Oh. Whew, Mountain Dew's up the nose.
I call that a successful episode.
Yep, that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.